wait a minute here to get everything started, make sure the audio is good, make sure everything's good to go here. And we're going to make sure that we are good. And then we will jump right into it. All right, Facebook's good. Let's check X. Make sure X is good. It looks like we are good on X. And YouTube. Mic testing. Mic testing, testing. Okay. All right, guys, as you guys are joining the live stream, happy Friday out there. Happy Black Friday. Hopefully you guys are being safe out there with all the shopping, festivities, and the parade of lights downtown Sioux Falls this evening. We wanted to go ahead and instead of do a regular video, regular 3 o'clock video, we are going to do actually a 3 o'clock live stream instead. So we are live on the air for you guys to give you guys a winter weather update, bring you guys the latest information that we have available to us, and to keep you guys ahead of the curve, keep you guys safe out there, to just help with you guys knowing what's going on. And let's jump right into it. So firstly, taking a look at the radar picture, we are dealing with the snow. It was the road conditions on the way to the studio were much different than this morning when I arrived this morning. This morning it was perfectly fine. And then as about 10-15 minutes ago, as I was making my way to the studio, it was drastically different. There were snow-covered roads. It was pretty snowy. Snow was still coming down pretty good. And the roads were definitely a little bit slick out there. So the roads are not in great condition right now. So if you are driving out in this stuff like I was, make sure you are slowing down. I slowed down quite a bit. You want to make sure that you are not driving over the speed limit. I wouldn't even recommend driving the speed limit. I would say go below the speed limit and slow down, take your time, and you'll be all right. Don't, when you're turning, don't turn super fast. Just be smart, be a smart driver, and you'll be all right. There's some safety precautions you can take too. I mean, you can have a winter coat with you. I'd wear a winter coat, and then have maybe a blanket, hat, stocking hat, gloves. Might be a good idea to bring a beverage with you. Hot cocoa. Bring some water in the car with you. Bring a snack. Bring some maybe bring some emergency food. Stuff like that, and that will help keep you ahead of the curve in case of an emergency. So, looking at the radar picture right now, this is where the snow is at. Let's go ahead and put a loop on this now. And this snow right now is moving through the Sioux Falls area, continuing to move through the area. The snow started about hour and a half ago around the Sioux Falls area, and immediately with some heavier snow. And Sioux Falls is right in the thick of this now, kind of right in the middle of this snow. And so we are going to be following this for the rest of the day and into tomorrow. Amounts yet, we are not sure, how much snow it has fallen yet. There hasn't been a whole lot of accumulations yet, at least in the Sioux Falls area. So it's going to take a while before we get real-time snow accumulations because the snow is still falling. And now let me go ahead and show you just the rest of the area. This is the whole entire region of where we have the snow. Okay, so basically think of it this way. We have round 1 and round 2. So round 1 is right now across, central North Dakota, Bismarck, all the way down to Mobridge, over to Aberdeen, into eastern South Dakota, Mitchell, Brookings, Watertown, Huron, Sioux Falls, down to Sioux City. And then it goes down into eastern Nebraska. And then, this snow goes all the way down to Lincoln, Nebraska. And then the snow goes into Iowa. This is round 1, folks. This is not all of it. This is not all of the snow that we'll be getting. Round 2 starts tonight out west, western South Dakota. You see all this snow up here in Montana? Well, that is what's going to be round 2. That is going to make its way east tonight, and then by tonight out west, and then in the eastern areas by tomorrow. That is what we're going to have to deal with. We're going to have to deal with round 2 of this system. So this is basically, this is today's system, and then tomorrow basically for the eastern regions we'll be seeing more snow. So that is the current radar picture, and again, if you put a loop on it, everything's moving east. Everything's moving in an easterly direction. So this snow in Montana will continue to move east and expand out west by tonight. Now, we have our winter weather headlines that I want to go over here. So really this goes all the way from Idaho into Montana into Wyoming. It goes into North Dakota, and then a lot of South Dakota, and then a lot of Nebraska as well. Western South Dakota is in the winter weather advisory. Rapid City, Pierre, Buffalo, Spearfish, Winter, Chamberlain, all in that winter weather advisory. And again, it goes down in Nebraska, Valentine, Grand Island, North Platte, O'Neill. So let's read this off here. Western South Dakota. Well, we have a winter weather advisory that says snow is expected. Total snow accumulations between 2 and 4 inches, with winds gusting as high as 45 miles per hour. Will cause blowing snow at times. Plan on slippery road conditions. Areas of blowing snow could significantly reduce visibility. Hazardous conditions could impact Friday evening commute. Now, like I said, it looks like this is more tonight into tomorrow for these areas out west. So this is from 5 p.m. this afternoon, so a couple hours from now, until 11 a.m. Saturday morning. So, and that kind of goes along with the thinking, the current timing of all this. And so western South Dakota, you're going to have to be on alert this evening and into tonight and then into tomorrow morning. And then we have a winter storm warning up here in the Mobridge area, Gettysburg, Miller areas. There's a winter storm warning that is in effect here. Heavy snow of 2 to 4 inches with gusty winds possible. Plan on slippery road conditions. Heavy snow possible here for north central South Dakota from noon today. So it's already in effect all the way through 11 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow morning. So it says plan on slippery road conditions. So that is the latest up there in north central South Dakota. And then how about the Aberdeen area? Well, winter weather advisory as well. New snow accumulations between 3 and 5 inches. So, I know on Tuesday, that area up in northeastern South Dakota got quite a lot of snow. And now we're going to get more snow up there. So an additional 3 to 5 inches looks to be the case. And this is in effect until noon tomorrow. And plan on slippery road conditions. Now, how about the Sioux Falls area? Well, let's go ahead and read this off here. It says heavy mixed precip expected. This is what you can expect. Total snow accumulations between 5 and 12 inches. So they upped that. They were saying 5. At first it was 4 to 7, then it was 5 to 10, and now it's 5 to 12. So anywhere in northwestern Iowa, southwest Minnesota, northeast Nebraska, and eastern and southeastern South Dakota could see 5 to a foot of snow. So 5 inches to a foot is possible. It also says ice accumulations around a light glaze south of I-90 towards Highway 21. Highway 20. This is in effect until midnight Saturday night. So this is in effect now until Saturday night. So that is a long time. That is today, the rest of today, and all of tomorrow. It says travel could be very difficult to impossible. So that is the latest. Now I got to bring up Iowa because Iowa is supposed to get hit the hardest out of all this. So let me read this off. This is near the Des Moines, Cedar Rapids area. Heavy snow of accumulations between 10 and 15 inches of snow in central and eastern Iowa. So if you got any folks in that area, if we got any viewers over in that area, you guys want to be paying attention to that, as there is some serious snow accumulations that look to be possible here across Iowa. And it says travel could be very difficult to impossible. Hazardous conditions could impact the post-Thanksgiving travel. Again, this is for central, north central, northeastern, and south central Iowa. This is from 6 p.m. this evening, so it actually hasn't started yet. It starts 6 p.m. this evening, and it goes until 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. So that is the latest there on your winter weather alerts. Let me turn off the radar just for a second so you guys can see this and see what we're looking at here. And there you go. There's your areas. So again, you got the winter storm warning up here in north central South Dakota. Mobridge, Miller areas up here. You got the round 2 up here in Montana. That's going to be making its way south overnight, southeast. And then the snow tonight will expand to the east by tomorrow. And the current activity in the Sioux Falls area is going to jolt east over the rest of the day. And so there's going to be a little bit of a break here in the action. I want to make that very clear. It looks like we're going to see a break tonight for Sioux Falls. I don't know how, we're going to look at the models here in just a minute to give us a better picture of what we're looking at. But again, this is the main area that we are focused on and concerned right now. This is supposed to be the worst area for the most snow and the highest risk here for the worst of the event, essentially. This is the area that we're watching. Again, southeast South Dakota, eastern South Dakota, into eastern Nebraska, into Iowa, and southern Minnesota. So that's the area that we're going to be keeping a very close eye on as we go through the rest of today and through tomorrow. One more time, let's look at the radar, and then we will jump to the models and see what we're looking at. So again, this is where we have the snow. This is all snow that is going on. Again, North Dakota, up into Montana, and then into eastern South Dakota. Looks like the heaviest band of snow is up here near the Redfield area. That looks to be the heaviest of the snow. And then Sioux Falls also seeing some pretty moderate snow. And then into southwestern Minnesota, into eastern Nebraska, and western Iowa. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what's ahead here. Let's look at the latest on the European model. Actually, we're going to look at the HRRR first, and then we'll look at the Euro here. So let me pull that up here. All right, so let's play this out here. And let's get the right run here. Here we go. So this is the current picture. Again, we have the current ongoing snow across the area. That will continue to persist here over the next few hours. Now, as we go throughout the evening hours, again, like I mentioned, tonight we get a break in the action. There's going to be kind of a break period here. Basically from Sioux Falls up towards Brookings, Huron, Pierre, Chamberlain. There's going to be kind of a period here where we're not going to see any snow. There's going to be kind of a in-between zone. And there's going to be snow all around the area. But in the middle, there's going to be a little bit of a break. So as I mentioned before, this run is saying probably, around midnight tonight. That's probably when that's going to happen for Sioux Falls, midnight and after. And then we'll get a little bit of a break, and then we'll see some more snow by the morning. And then that will, as you notice, there's that snow from the west, again, making its way east. So that's kind of, again, that's the current picture. And there's your snow expanding out west over tonight. And then into tomorrow, the snow will continue. This is the morning picture. Iowa, the entire state of Iowa under snow, eastern Nebraska, southeastern North Dakota, central and eastern South Dakota, southern Minnesota, our whole region going to be under this snow activity. And then as we watch Saturday unfold, the system will eventually get out of here by Saturday evening and Saturday night. And that is when we will be done with this system. And it looks like Sunday we will get a break in the action. We'll see a dry day on Sunday. Now, another thing, there could be some freezing rain potential this evening across far southeastern South Dakota into Nebraska and western Iowa. There's a window of opportunity here. Unfortunately, looking like we could see some freezing rain potential, which that would cause more issues. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but it is starting to look more and more likely that we're going to be seeing that freezing rain potential again. Far southeastern South Dakota, that'd be Yankton, Vermilion, maybe Beresford, maybe as far north as Canton, and then into western Iowa and into Nebraska. That's kind of what we're looking at there. And then just plain snow after that. For everyone else, we're looking at snow. And so it's a pretty large snow system when you think about it, the overall graphical area that it covers. This covers quite a wide region. I mean, it covers all of South Dakota, covers North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Nebraska, even Colorado, Iowa, Minnesota. I mean, it covers even Missouri into Illinois, Wisconsin. I mean, it covers a large chunk of the area. Now, wind gust. I wanted to bring this up. Take a look at the wind gust map here. And we are looking at some wind. Not a lot. We're not seeing what we saw on Tuesday. Tuesday we saw some extremely strong winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. We're not seeing any of that this time around, which is good. That would create a lot more issues. If we had any kind of wind gusts going on, we would have blizzard warnings. It would be a lot worse situation. So thankfully, the wind this time around is not going to be a factor. Now, there still will be some wind gusts, but again, it's not going to be as strong as we saw on Tuesday. I'd say more in that 20 to 25 mile per hour range for central South Dakota this evening, and then maybe western Iowa, southeast South Dakota overnight. And then you do notice out west, I do want to point this out, there is an exception out west here into Wyoming and panhandle of Nebraska and far western South Dakota. Could be 30 to 45 mile per hour winds possible out there tonight. And then into tomorrow across Nebraska. Now for Sioux Falls, there could be a window here that would be a little bit more concerning. The highest winds that we're going to be seeing could be around 30 to 35 miles per hour, which that could still cause some issues, especially if there's still falling snow. Now, all of it is just going to depend on how long the snow sticks around. Like, how long is the system going to stay around the area? If it leaves earlier, then we won't really deal with a lot of blowing snow. There still will be some blowing snow around, but it'll be worse if there's still falling snow going on while we have the wind gusts. And then, after tomorrow, the winds will die down. We'll start to see the winds die down by Sunday. But there will be a window here from west to east, as you can see there on the map, tonight into tomorrow. Could be some winds of 30 to 35 miles per hour, maybe 40 plus down in Nebraska. So that is kind of the latest thinking there. That's the HRRR. Now let's look at total snow accumulations. I wanted to go ahead and show this. And let's see what the HRRR model thinks. So as we play this out for you, let's start with today. The rest of today. This is what we're looking at for the rest of today. So we're looking at just over an inch of in Sioux Falls. We got 2.5 in Mitchell. We got about 2 inches in Aberdeen. Looks like the highest amounts are going to be up in the Mulbridge area in that 2 to 4 inch range, and then down into Iowa, northwestern Iowa. There could be a spot of 4 to 6 inches. But you notice how little snow there really is today in terms of today's system. This is what's expected across our area. Like I said, there's going to be a pocket here in central South Dakota where we're going to see a break in the action before tomorrow, and we're not going to see any snow. But then you start to notice out west, it starts expanding, and we start seeing more snow, and then really starts to blossom here in north central South Dakota, and then into far southeastern South Dakota, and then eastern Nebraska into Iowa. Looking at amounts, north central South Dakota. Now this is through tomorrow, so this is snowfall amounts through tomorrow. We're looking at 6 inches, kind of that 5 to 6 inch range up here towards Aberdeen, Mulbridge, north central South Dakota, and then southeastern South Dakota. Mitchell could see around 7 inches. Sioux Falls could see around 7 inches. I'd say 7 inches is probably a pretty good bet for Sioux Falls between now and tomorrow, through tomorrow. How about Iowa? Look at some of these numbers. I did see a 20-inch spot here in Iowa. 20 inches of snow could be possible. That's certainly on the table. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. That is what the HRRR model is showing here. 20 inches. That'd be down near kind of Carroll, Iowa, kind of down in that area. Ida Grove, kind of down in that vicinity. So Iowa, kind of anywhere from 8 to 20 inches, basically. Just depends on where you are. It depends on where the most snow falls. Snow. A lot of people, give people a hard time with snow predictions. It is the hardest thing to predict because there are some spots. It is such a different. Every location is so different. Sioux Falls could get 6-7 inches, and then you go. Maybe like a few miles to the east, they could see like 2 inches more. So it is hard to forecast snow and predict how much snow will be falling in a certain area. The only real thing you can do is just make an estimate based on what the models are showing. And some of these spots in Iowa could see over a foot of snow. That is the bottom line here. Now, for the Sioux Falls area, again, we're looking at that 6 to 7 inches of snow. So that is your map. This is what we're looking at for today and tomorrow for snow. Now, let's look at the European model and see what the European model wants to show here. The European model has a little bit of a different picture. They are less on the amounts of snow. So Sioux Falls in that 4-inch range, as according to the European model. 1 to 2 inches out west, 2 to 4 in eastern South Dakota, anywhere from 2 to 7 inches in eastern Nebraska, and then anywhere from 5 to a foot in Iowa. So that's according to the European model. Now, let's see. Precipitation type here. Let's run out the latest on the European model. And so again, tonight dealing with that snow out west, and then it really expands by the morning, and then tomorrow, and then it'll get out of here by tomorrow night. So that is when you can expect the snow to go away, would be tomorrow evening. And then high pressure comes in and we will be much quieter. Now, let's take a quick look ahead here. Jumping ahead a little bit farther out. On Monday, there could be a little bit of a clipper system maybe down in southern Nebraska into southern Iowa on Monday morning. Did want to mention that, but not seeing a whole lot there. And, Monday, Tuesday looking good. Now, once we get towards Tuesday night into Wednesday, could be a few snowflakes out west. Maybe Pierre, Rapid City, winter. And then Wednesday looks dry, high pressure over us. And Thursday overall looking pretty solid. And then you do notice by Friday, so a week out from today, there could be another system coming through. So something to watch. There could be another chance for snow, rain/snow, by next Friday. That would take us out to December 5th. And maybe another system on Saturday. So we'll see what happens. That's still, a week out, over a week out. Now, temperatures. Let's go over temperatures. What are we looking at over the next several days? Well, again, today we got temperatures in the teens and 20s. And then we will see temperatures fall tonight into the teens. And then tomorrow, we're looking at temperatures in the teens and 20s once again. So pretty similar temperature forecast there. And then look at these overnight lows on Saturday night into Sunday morning. Single digits out west. We talked about that Arctic blast. There it is. It's right there. Yeah, purple. And for your day on Sunday, look at some of these highs on Sunday. 5 degrees up in Sisseton, 7 in Aberdeen, 9 in Mulbridge, 15 in Rapid City and Pierre, 16 in Sioux Falls. Yeah, we got some cold air on Sunday. And then look at some of these temperatures below zero in Aberdeen by the time we get towards Sunday night. Yeah, below zero. Temperatures up in Aberdeen, single digits for Sioux Falls. And then Monday, teens and 20s once again in the forecast. How about Tuesday? We're looking at daytime highs in the 20s in the east, even some teens up in Minnesota yet. And then you do notice there is a little bit of warmer air out west. Western South Dakota, western Nebraska. Could be back into the upper 30s to low 40s on Tuesday. And then by Wednesday, we're back in this really cold air again. Single digits in North Dakota, Minnesota, northeast South Dakota. Western South Dakota around 30. Sioux Falls around 15 degrees. And then how about Thursday? Looking at temperatures in the 30s. So it looks like by the time we get towards next Thursday, we might start to rebound a little bit. Maybe in the 30s across our region. And then on Friday, where there's no snow, could see some 40s back in the forecast there out west. But 30s, 20s, and 30s in the east. And we'll see what happens after that. 30s, maybe 30s, 20s. I mean, it pretty much looks like the same map next weekend. So bottom line is winter is here. Not officially. Winter technically doesn't start until, December 21st. But we can pretty much say that winter's here. I'd say winter is here now. And we don't see any kind of warm-ups anytime soon. I mean, we are looking at we are now in full-on winter mode now. We got the snow, we got the cold. And when you get that combo, yeah, that's when you're in winter. And unfortunately, for those of you that don't like winter, I'm one of them. I don't personally like winter. We are not looking at any warm-up anytime soon. So the good news out of this is after tomorrow, things are going to quiet down, and we're going to see a quiet period. And but winter showed its ugly head this week, on Tuesday and now today. Basically arriving for us here. All right, so one last thing. I wanted to go over the current temperatures, and then we'll do one last look at the radar, and then we'll hop off. And then actually what we're going to do, we're going to take a short break, and then I'm going to jump back on and do a Q&A for you guys and answer all your guys' questions. I know we got a lot of them. So real quickly here, let's jump over. Let's look at temperatures. And again, we are pretty chilly out there. We got 25 right now in Sioux Falls. That is much below average for this time of the year. We should be in the low 40s, upper 30s to low 40s in our region, and we are stuck in the teens and 20s. 19 in Aberdeen, 21 in Pierre, 34 in Rapid City. We got 30 in Valentine. We got 32 in North Platte. It's a little bit warmer in western Nebraska, western South Dakota, but not too warmer. It's 30s. That's not a whole lot better. 23 in O'Neill, 28 in Omaha, and then into Iowa. We got 28 in Des Moines. We got 27 in Fort Dodge, 27 in Spencer, and we got 30 in Des Moines, or 30 in Cedar Rapids. Up in Minnesota, we got 27 in Minneapolis. We got 23 in St. Cloud, 23 in Marshall, 27 in Fairmont. So teens and 20s mainly in our area. Now let's go back and take one last look at the radar. And what are we looking at? Well, we have the ongoing snow. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. And there we go. So, again, from Montana over into North Dakota near Bismarck, and then down through South Dakota, eastern South Dakota, Aberdeen, Mulbridge, down to Huron, Redfield, Watertown, Brookings, Sioux Falls, Mitchell, and then down towards Sioux City, and then southwestern Minnesota getting involved here, Marshall, Worthington, and eastern Nebraska, and then western Iowa, towards Des Moines. Des Moines is even seeing some snow now. And so that is the current radar picture. Again, everything moving in an easterly direction, putting a loop on this. And everything moving in an easterly direction. And again, we still have those winter weather headlines that will continue throughout the rest of today and through tomorrow. Winter weather advisory in the blue, winter storm warning in red. So that is going to do it for this live. Let's go ahead and jump off here for a few minutes, and we're going to actually in my next, right before I do the Q&A, we're going to look at the road conditions, and we're going to look at the road map and see what it's looking like there. So hang tight if you want to stick around. Hang tight. We'll be right back on here in just a few minutes, and we're going to do a live Q&A, and I'm also going to take a look at the road conditions and take a look at the road map and see what it's looking like out there. So this was the live update. Thank you guys for tuning in this afternoon. Be safe out there as always. That's first and foremost. We want everybody to be safe out there. Situation can be dangerous, but like I said, if you slow down, if you take your time, be smart about things, you'll be all right. So we're gonna go ahead and jump off here for a few minutes, and then we'll hop back on. So thank you guys for watching. Those of you on YouTube and Facebook and X, thank you guys for